example of what creating podcast show notes can do to help your podcast gain more subscribers. Now, here we've got an example for an episode of my show called the Product Launch Podcast, where we feature B2B SaaS product founders, their stories, and then the strategies and techniques that have helped them succeed. Now, here what you'll find is what's hopefully an engaging, compelling title at the top, encouraging our listeners to check out this episode, listen to it, and then hopefully subscribe to the podcast. And if we scroll down a little bit in terms of what's on the website, got some episode-specific artwork that features the guest as well as some information about this particular episode, a little widget that they can use to play this episode directly from my website. Now, in this case, most of your subscribers or listeners are probably going to do so from their favorite podcasting app on their mobile phone, so this may not be that important, but it is something that's nice to have on the website. And then under that, we get into more of the details specifically related to the podcast show notes. Now here we've got both an overview of the episode as well as some background information about the guest on the show, and then what we talked about on the specific episode, which is further summarized in some key points below, which talk about some of the specific topics that were mentioned, which also should be compelling and interesting for your prospective listeners. Then we link any resources that were mentioned on the podcast, as well as social media profile and contact information for both the guest and the host. And below that, we've got some specific quotes about exactly what was talked about on the show and timestamps so folks can find that specific part of the show and listen if that's the most compelling and interesting content for them.